American colleges and universities are the envy of the world. They have been for at least a century. Fun fact, America leads the world in Nobel Prizes for medicine, physics, math, chemistry, you name it. The United States has been awarded 71% of all Nobel Prizes, and the reason is simple. We have enjoyed the greatest higher education system in the world, greatest education system the world has ever seen. And now the Chinese are getting all the benefits effectively for free. Wealthy Chinese are buying their way into our top universities and taking the spots of American students. Our friend Steve Cortes has a new documentary out on YouTube called China's College Takeover and joins us now. You know, Steve, I remember this time of year as a senior in high school sweating, literally, whether or not I was going to get into college and which one I did. You thought you were competing on a fair, somewhat fair field to get into college. Now I think what your documentary shows is that there is a large part of the class every year in any college that normal American kids don't have a chance at.
Yeah, that's right. And particularly from the selective schools. And I know from reading your excellent book that you went to Northwestern University, schools like Northwestern, like University of Illinois, which I profile in my documentary, these outstanding, highly selective schools, at almost all of them, there's at least a 25% international component now. That did not used to exist. And at some of these schools, like Columbia University in New York, Ivy League, it's closer to 50%. So I think the overall international numbers are far too high and are stealing opportunity from American young people. And remember, we are paying for these schools, all of them, including the private ones. In fact, many of the outstanding private ones get more federal aid than do the public schools. But on top of that, what I've really focused on within that international cohort are the masses of Chinese students, hundreds of thousands of Chinese nationals who are studying at American universities. And there I see two big dangers: stealing opportunity, as I mentioned, but secondarily, the national security risks. We are literally educating our enemy. We are supporting the ecosystem of the Chinese Communist Party, and we're doing it willingly. And the University of Illinois is a school in the middle of cornfields, an outstanding STEM school, but in the middle of cornfields, in the middle of the country, 6,000 Chinese nationals in Champaign, Illinois, while outstanding kids from Rockford and Peoria and the Chicago suburbs cannot get in.
Right. And the reason these schools are doing it is because of money, right? Because the Chinese kids pay full freight, whether it's subsidized by the government over there or by their families. You interviewed a professor here, I think, highlighted the problem perfectly well. Take a listen.
U.S. citizens and the citizens of the state of Illinois, those people are not the ones being admitted. We're systematically undermining our own technological advantages and prowess, which has a lot of important considerations across a lot of domains, particularly national security.
In your research, did you find any evidence that the people that China are sending over have, I'll use this word advisingly, but relationships with Chinese intelligence and the Chinese military?
No, they absolutely do. And by the way, it is literally required by Chinese law that the hundreds of thousands of students that are sent here, they are obliged to give information, if requested, to the Chinese Communist Party. And we know factually, for example, let me give you examples from the Midwest. At Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago, a student was arrested and convicted for espionage. He is now actually back in China via a prisoner swap. That's how valuable he was to Beijing. But he was convicted in America of espionage while a student here. Similarly, at University of Michigan, there were just several indictments of Chinese nationals, students at the University of Michigan, who were sneaking bioweapons into the United States, ones that were directed at American agriculture. So they were literally looking to at least have the capability of poisoning our food supply. So this isn't a theory. It's not a supposition. We know that some of these students, perhaps a large cohort of these students, are spying on us, that they are saboteurs. But even in the most benign case, Leland, I think this is important. In the most benign case, what we're doing is empowering and educating our enemy so that they can then go back to Beijing and be successful with our technologies. And I highlight in the documentary Mark Andreessen, who's a very famous tech titan, somebody who's gotten pretty involved in the political arena lately. He went to University of Illinois. He came from a humble Midwestern background, and he says the University of Illinois is what gave him his launching pad to achieve all the success he did. He says he would not get in to U of I today. He says between the DEI standards and and the international students, he doesn't get in. Larry Ellison, at one point the richest man in the world, also went to the University of Illinois. So the Chinese Communist Party, by the way, they're malevolent, they're evil, but they're not dumb. They're going to U of I because they know that they're going to get the kind of STEM skills that are very valuable to the Chinese Communist Party. But my point is, first of all, why are those opportunities not reserved for Americans? Secondly, how can we aid the enemy like this? It's nonsense.
It's great points that you bring up. Two things here. One is, why is there not a bigger push to end this? I know the universities are just greedy and want money, plus they're mostly liberal and progressive, which have certain proclivities to viewing the Chinese more favorably. But I would think on the right, this would be a pretty universally hated situation. And what I've heard and seen as your documentary has come out is that there's a lot of Trump supporters, who you are one of, that are angry at you for bringing this issue up.
Yeah, look, the reality is there is basic unanimity among the America First adherents. In other words, among the voter base. The MAGA crowd is pretty unanimous on this, that this is outrageous. And my documentary is being very, very well received by them. That's not necessarily the case among office holders in Washington, D.C., including a very famous one who lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But I would tell those office holders that they're wrong on this. They're simply wrong. 300,000 Chinese students in the United States does not serve the interests of the United States. It does not prioritize American citizens and American young people. And that's why we do these kinds of, why we create this kind of content, though, is to change minds, where we need to at the levers of power.
We got to run, Steve. Link to your documentary in War Notes today. Thanks for joining us, as always, on a Friday night.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.